build walls. And King took the steel beam of hope and drove it deep down into the soil of fear and despair in the first steps of building a bridge. Sometimes in the process of building a bridge, our text says that Christ came and he tore down all of the walls in order to make one out of the two. And King understood this important fact that if we are to bring unity and build a bridge, we must first begin to tear down the walls. Someone said, how do we get more people to join our churches? I simply respond to tear down the walls and make the city your parish. And begin to reach people regardless of their nationality or their race or their background or their status, and you will begin to find out that you can bring more people together by tearing down more walls. And King said, away with the foolishness of building walls with words, of building walls with titles, of building walls with labels, and building walls with tagging other people of different things. He said, let's build a bridge and bring everyone together. In our text, it says that Christ made peace by making us one. But the word peace in our text literally means in its original language to join together, to be woven together. To be at peace with your neighbor means that you are joined and woven and linked together with your neighbor. And sometimes we think peace means you stay over there and I'll stay over here. You don't bother me and I don't bother you. And we'll have all the peace that we need. But that is not peace. That's a standoff waiting for something to go off. But when you have peace, true peace, when you are connected with your neighbor and woven with your neighbor, then you have the authentic of peace and not just an illusion of peace. King said, I want to be connected to you and not just separated from you with a written document that says we are together, but not truly linked at our hearts. Peace is not something that you can get from a distance. Anytime you get ready to build a bridge, bridge builders must have expert knowledge of the locations on which they are getting ready to build. The first thing a bridge builder does before they lay down one beam of steel is they take and go through great pains of studying and researching and collecting data of the land upon which they are getting ready to build. Because if you do not know or have knowledge and understanding about the land on which you desire to build, the bridge you build might bring more pain than bring solutions. If I'm going to help someone, in other words, I need to know something about the plight that you are in if I'm able to provide any kind of solutions. I cannot help you or build a bridge to you or connect with you if I know nothing about you. But if we are to build a bridge, we must have surveyed the land. We must have collected knowledge and information of the other so that we can be sure that we're building the proper bridge. Unity can only be realized through dialogue and engagement with the context and neighborhoods that we live in. Though the art of listening, through the art of listening, with the willingness and humility to change our minds if necessary. Through entering the neighborhoods and hanging out with people, joining community organizations and connecting with the people across the street. King stated, like life, racial understanding is not something that we can find, but something that must be intentionally created. Much of disunity is the result of a failure to do our homework about the other. We would rather take on the Sherlock Holmes approach to the other. You know, we would just rather look at a person and see one feature about them and come come to amazing conclusions about who they are and where they've been and what they need and what they can do and what they can accomplish. But there's a reason why Sherlock Holmes is a fictional character. It is because you cannot look at someone and judge by what they wear, about what they have on, about the past mistakes they have made, about what kind of grades they have, about the color of their skin, and come to any conclusions, any real, authentic conclusions about who that person really is. If you want to know something about someone's life, you got to take the time to sit down with them and eat with them and laugh with them and cry with them and hug on them and love with them and come into their homes. We cannot judge a book just by reading the title. You got to get in and read each chapter, line upon line, and paragraph upon paragraph, before we are equipped to critique the other.
Amen.
But sometimes it's easier just to be Sherlock Holmes and jump to conclusions. Just because someone has a mohawk, ear piercings, and tattoos all over their body does not mean that they do not have potential. Just because someone might be raised in a rough and a terrible side of the neighborhood doesn't mean they can't get a good education. Just because someone might possibly be wearing a hoodie and walking in a dark neighborhood, you never have to tell them the motive of their heart. But God is getting hot up in here. Somebody say, preach, preacher. We have to take the time to get to know the person if we are to help the person. There are some things we can't figure out from a demographic printout from a computer. But until we sit down with the other, there was an old African proverb that says, when I saw you from a distance, I thought that you were a monster. But when I came closer, I thought you were an animal. When I came closer still, I saw that you were a man. But when we were face to face, I saw that you were my brother. What would happen if we got face to face with the other? What would happen if we had face-to-face encounters with those who do not look like us, live like us, act like us, or dress like us? I believe that if we read their stories, we would find out that we identify with the main characters, and I believe that we would find out that they are not so different from us. Time to study the land before they start building, to make sure they're building the right bridge. And anytime a bridge builder gets ready to build a bridge, they intentionally build it to be a permanent, long-time lasting structure. Ephesians 2 and 15 says that Christ, having abolished in his flesh the enmity or the hatred. The word abolished, it simply means that it is gone, never to come again anymore. And bridges are built to be those permanent structures outliving the engineers who built them. They were projects to meet not short-term goals, but they were intended to benefit others over an indefinite period of time. King said it is time that we civilize ourselves by the total, direct, and immediate abolition of poverty. Bridge builders are not satisfied with pacifying the needs of others, but bringing about stable and long-lasting resolutions. This is not about helping you be a little more comfortable in your struggle, but this is about giving you the means not only to come out of your struggle, but giving you the means to be out of your struggle and never have to see it again. Bridge builders is about long-lasting resolutions that we add to other people's lives. To those who are marooned on the islands of rejection, the bridge builder stretches out her hand and says, grab a hold, and leads them to the peaceful shores of tranquility and peace for long, not to visit, but to stay, long-term solutions. Bridges outlive the engineers and perpetuate service, hope, and reconciliation. If your program dies when you do, it wasn't a bridge. If your policies fail when you leave the office, it wasn't a bridge. If your ministries fail when you leave the church, it wasn't a bridge. If your dreams die when you do, it wasn't a bridge. Bridges not only work when that person is in place, but like Rev Dr. Martin Luther King, even though he's been gone for over 50 years, we are here today still benefiting from a dream that he had. We are still reaping the benefits of the ministry that he had. We're still reaping the benefits of the service that he had because he intended it to be a permanent, long-time resolution to the troubles and the ills of our day. It wasn't just pacifying the issues. It was looking for a way to permanently resolve them and be better than the issues, to transcend the issues of our day. What good is a gospel that does not bring transformation to people's lives? Faith with no application is useless. Love with no justice is useless. Bridge builders understand that we have to have praying hands, but with dirty fingernails. Are you a bridge builder in your home, teaching your kids how to have a long-term transformation of their philosophy on how to reach out and love those who seem to be receiving no love from others? Are you a bridge builder on your job, bringing people together from different colors and from different backgrounds? Are you a bridge builder in your community, bringing together the economically challenged with the well-to-do? Are you a bridge builder in your churches, bridging the young and the liberal with the older and conservative? Are we being a bridge builder and building long-term bridges? But yet, in the midst of this talk of bridges, sometimes many of us can suffer from gay phobia. That's a big word, y'all. I had to study that one. Gay phobia. If you punch it in when you get home in Google, it simply means the fear of crossing bridges. And sometimes when people come to an intersection where they have to cross a bridge, they begin to sweat at their palms. Their heart rate begins to speed up, and their legs turn to rubber. And they will do all they can do to avoid going across a bridge. There at major bridges, there are some who have to get into the car with people and drive them across the bridge because they are suffering from an abnormal fear of crossing bridges. Have you ever been to a meeting or to a get-together that you didn't know who was going to be there? And the first thing you did when you got there was look around for someone who looked like you? Oh, come on, somebody. And if you didn't find anyone who looked like you at the meeting, your heart rate would speed up, your palms would get sweaty, and your legs would turn to rubber. And for some of us, we begin to introduce ourselves to people, and we would sound just like the deer. We would start talking, hello. Quarantine.